Hey fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Paris. And today we're going to talk about are some of those TikTok and Instagram travel hacks that you see that might actually get you in trouble, like to the point you might get banned from airlines, but then some of them you'll get away with. So I just want to go through some of them that I found to be really kind of not good travel hacks, so you're knowing what to do and what not to do. And one I've seen a lot pop up lately is the poor man's first class. Basically, the idea here is you get first class space, but you pay economy fare tickets. Well, the thing is, what people will do is they'll buy like all three seats on one side of the plane, like aisle, middle, and window seat. And then what they do is they buy refundable tickets, right? So then with 30 or 45 minutes before the flight takes off, they cancel those two. And look, I get all three seats, but only paying for one. What a great idea. Yeah, it sounds like a great idea, but here's the thing. Once you cancel those tickets, the standby passengers and the fact that a lot of airlines actually oversell their planes anyway, they're going to use those seats. And now you've spent basically the equivalent of a first class ticket to get 3 refundable seats, which you only don't actually get any of the benefits for. So do be aware of that most likely you're not going to get that. It can happen, but most likely it's not. Also, if you do that enough times, airlines realize this, and some of them may cancel all of your tickets, so you end up with 0 tickets and no flight. So this is one I really think you're not going to have very much luck doing. Now, a similar one, and this is one that isn't really a bad hack, it's just one I see people do, it's when a couple will buy the window seat and the aisle seat, hoping that no one will take the middle seat. This one you probably have a better chance of getting, because what happens is people either don't buy the middle seat or someone sits in the middle and they're like, hey, would you like to switch? And the worst thing that happens is the couple gets the aisle and middle or the middle and window, and you're kind of okay. That one I see actually works a little bit better, but also realize there's weirdos like me that might say, no, I want to sit in the middle seat to ruin your romance. But honestly, that's like a variation of the poor man's first class, but that one doesn't get you in too much trouble at all, whereas the poor man's first class can be against terms of service on some airlines, so be aware of that. Now, another thing I've seen, this one's become very, very popular, is the use your pillowcase as an extra bag. With the idea is you take your pillow, you see people get on planes, especially on long haul flights, and they have their backpack and their one carry-on, and they've got their pillow. And most airlines aren't checking your pillows, right? So people think, I'll just put all my clothes in my pillow so I don't have to pay for an extra bag, right? And then I've got a pillow and I've got extra clothes and I'm ready for my adventure. Yeah, that can work, but here's the thing. Some airlines actually pay their gate agents to make sure there's people not bringing too much stuff, and you can get nailed that way. And the problem is, if you get caught, well, one, you get weird looks, and then they're like, hey, guess what? You get to go to that Toomey store and buy an expensive suitcase, and now you're buying an expensive suitcase, and you've got to pay for the luggage as well. So now you're paying even more than you just would have had the extra luggage in the first place. So do be aware of that. Now, I do know there are some companies that make the neck pillows that are actually made to put your clothes in, so that might get you get around it. But if you're taking that full-size pillow, I hate to tell you, that might not work out. Now, another hack that I've seen people talk about, this was big a few years ago, it was in the news, is what's called skip lagging. And basically what this is let's say I want to go to Atlanta, right? And my flight to Atlanta is $500, direct. However, if I buy a flight to New York City and it goes via Atlanta, it's only $400. So then I buy the $400 ticket to New York, and once I land in Atlanta, I don't take that next connecting flight, and voila, I'm in Atlanta and I saved $100. That can work. Here's the thing. Airlines plan for people to be on those planes, and if you're not there, it causes disruptions. They have to think about, hey, did that person get off? What's going on here? Are we holding? Are we waiting for them? Is passenger Wolters, Mark Wolters, in the airport? Please come. So that's one of those kind of annoyance things that holds people up. But also, if you're thinking you can do that and then fly back from Atlanta and not do it, no, what they do is when you skip land, they cancel the rest of your ticket. Like the rest of your ticket, you can't fly back home. Forget about it. Also, if you're checking bags, you can't just check your bag to Atlanta and not all the way to New York. So that's not going to work. And the thing is, some airlines, if they know you do that, they catch you enough times, they might ban you from the airline. So it's not really worth it. So look for other flights. And if you see one of those deals, like, wait, why is it cheaper there? Maybe call the airline directly and see if they can get you a deal so you don't, get in trouble for it. Now, our next questionable travel hack is the dress like a fat person, or stuff your bra with lots of extra stuff, or wear all your clothes at one time. I can't put my arms down. Look, I see people do this, and I've done this before, where I'll have like, oh, I've got my t-shirt, my quarter zip, and then I'll put a sweatshirt on my coat to try to like get some of the extra stuff on there. I can understand that, but what I'm talking about are people that will like literally stuff a bag underneath their shirt to like look like they're fat instead of like, you know, having a bag. And I understand people's reasoning behind this. They think, oh, well, fat people take up more space, so why can't I take up more space with more stuff? I understand where you're coming from with this. However, I want to tell you, this again can be against terms of service. If you're caught with that, guess what? It's just like the pillow thing. You're gonna have to go buy a bag and then check it, right? So you gotta be careful with that. Also, if you're going through TSA or security, they might wonder why you're wearing all those clothes, what's going on here. It just kind of makes people question what you're doing. It makes you look a little fishy. And that's where you get on certain lists that you don't want to be on for airlines or airports, so do be aware of that. And us husky travelers, we carry our weight differently than if we have a bag in our tummy, okay? So do be aware of that. Now, probably the most disgusting and hurtful and just worst question, I have to question your moral fortitude hack I've seen are people that fake disabilities or fake needing a wheelchair so they can get the wheelchair benefits. This isn't just at airports. If you look at Disney World, like they've changed their policies on, you know, on disabled travelers or limited mobility travelers or visitors because so many people are saying, yes, I need a wheelchair, and therefore they got to skip the lines. And at airports, if you ever seen someone that has a wheelchair, they get to go straight to the front of security, they get to board the airplane first, all these things, and some people think, oh, it's worth it to do it to get those benefits. But the thing is, that's just wrong. I'm like, come on. And what happens is if you take that wheelchair, that means someone that actually does need a wheelchair isn't getting it. Now, if you do have something like I've had, you know, fellow travelers have been traveling with us break their ankles, and so we actually literally need a wheelchair to get them through the airport. Like, I understand that, but lying for those things, that's just not something you should really do. And I've seen this happen enough times. I wanted to bring this up because that's the one I really have to think. You need to question your moral compass, my friends. So, what are some other really bad travel hacks you've seen lately? Let us know in the comments below. And as we go by, if I see more really not good travel hacks that show up, I want to make more videos about us to help us not get in trouble and travel better. Because you know what? Maybe pay the 30 bucks and get the extra luggage instead of going through all this craziness. Because I'll tell you, if you wear all of your clothes and you're going to Spain in the summer when it's 40 Celsius or 100 Fahrenheit, you are not going to be happy and you're going to overheat. And that can be a safety issue too. So be safe, travelers, and don't do stupid travel hacks. Do the right kind of traveling. Anyway, I'll say bye from here in Paris.